through your page. It's been a while back, man. Whenever I found out you're the minor, and I seen that you just did like crazy amounts of cosplay. Do you um do you make them all yourself? How do you go about getting everything to look authentic?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time, a lot of research, studying the character, studying screenshots, watching the movie or film, and some of the things I make myself. Otherwise, I outsource certain things. Usually, all the clothing, when it comes to clothing, I make myself, or at least get everything together. And sometimes it's like a custom made piece that I'll take to a seamstress, and she makes it for me. Otherwise, the masks, I don't make any of the masks, save for one. I made a Dr. Decker mask a long time ago for my Dr. Decker cosplay from Nightbreed, and
Okay. I was about to say
that was a
refresh my memory on Dr. Decker because I didn't know who that was.
yeah. It looks like he's got button eyes, like a zipper mouth, and just like it looks like a cloth mask that's
Yes.
cinched up real tight on his head, kind of like the mask
Yeah.
the collector wears, except Dr. Decker's is white, and has buttons for eyes.
Does he
So
does he wear like a flannel?
he wears a suit and tie, um, and then in a couple of scenes he wears like a big like overcoat over the suit and tie. So he looks like a businessman when you know he's in wearing the mask and everything. So
I'm thinking of something different. You did uh Fear Street, didn't you?
oh yeah, yep, did that
Yeah,
one.
that's the one I'm
Uh,
thinking of with the cloth mask. Man, that thing's fucking sick. Where did you get that
yeah,
mask?
that's another one that I made.
You made that.
I forgot. Yeah, I made that one too. Yeah, so I think those are the only two masks I've made. And of course, I always choose the ones that are a pain in the ass. I mean,
Yeah,
they're tough to
because
do,
that's
man.
like
But
definition, in the eyes and all that stuff. Did you had would you go had tell me, how'd you do it?
yeah, so at least for me, the key to doing those is you got to have like a head form, like a mannequin head or something. I was fortunate to have a life cast done many years ago by a friend of mine who he said, "Hey, if I can life cast you, you can keep the head form as long as I can make copies of your head to use to sculpt on." I was like, "Hey, man, that sounds like a fair deal to me." So I've already got like kind of a likeness. So I know when I start working with something, for the most part, it's going to fit me like I want it to
Yeah.
fit me. But as far as capturing those details, uh, for the Nightwing Killer, I used real burlap, and then basically just took like an Elmer's glue and water mixture and would brush it on and let it kind of soak in. And then when that would start to dry, and you could kind of speed up the drying process with a hair dryer,
Yeah.
I just start kind of pinching those folds and using a couple little tools just to get those areas to kind of retain their shape. And
Did
that's
you
pretty
spray
much
did
it in a nutshell.
did you spray it with anything after to kind of make sure it held?
Nope, nope. I think I would lessen the concentration, so use less water and more
Gotcha.
Elmer's glue. But you
Yeah.
got to be careful. Use too much glue, straight glue, and then when it dries, it kind of gets white,
Why, yeah.
instead of clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one
Yeah.
had some challenges, but it turned out pretty good.
No,
So
that looks great, man. I was
thank
I
you.
was studying that one not too long ago because I was like, where the fuck did he get this mask? Because it's beautiful. And
Thank you, man.
if you ever want to make me one, I will definitely pay you for it. Just simply because I love, 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 love Fear Street, man. That was one of the better things that's come out in a long time, in my opinion.
It really
John,
was. Yeah, I
John,
liked the whole thing.
John,
Yo,
do you have anything to say?
I do. I do actually.
I'm
Um,
usually the one that gets asked that question. So
uh,
serious.
so your cosplay is kind of how you and Smitty met to be in the movie. Uh,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Tom had gotten a photo of me at a Horror Hound convention years ago, and I was cosplaying as the miner, and he saved that, he saved that picture, and when he made the decision that he wanted to do a My Bloody Valentine fan film, he's trying to think of who can we get to play the miner, and remembered that he got that photo of someone in a miner costume, but he didn't know who it was. So he took to social media to try to track me down. And a couple of people said, "Hey, I think that's Chuck Ryan," and he reached out, and we connected that way.
Was that a fairly easy transition? Because I feel like a lot of cosplayers are pretty much in character when they go to conventions and stuff like that. Was it a hard transition or an easy transition to film to kind of play that?
It was pretty easy. I will say I gotta give a shout out to Peter Cowper, the original miner from the 81 My Bloody Valentine. He gave me some tips, and just in general, and whatnot, to kind of capture that, the stride and the movements and stuff. But at the same time, if you've seen the movie, you know that the miner in our movie, it's a different character. He dresses the same, but it's a different character. So
Right.
it kind of isn't to stretch to say, oh, our miner is going to move and maybe behave a little differently. But it was still really cool, chatting with Peter, and just getting some insight on how he played the character as the miner, just kind of get inside his head. Um, so yeah, it was pretty cool to be able to play that character. It was like a cosplayer's dream to be in a fan film. And when
Yeah.
Tom first asked me, I was like, I didn't know who Tom was, and I played it really cool when he said, "Hey, do you think you'd be interested in this?" And I didn't want to say no, because I never want to, jeopardize a possible good opportunity, but I didn't want to jump out and say yes and then commit to something that I didn't have more information about at the time. So he was really cool and understanding about that, and sent me his one of his shorts called "Hunting for Justice," and I watched that and I said, "This guy's the real deal. He knows what he's doing," and I'm like, I'm all in. And I don't think at that time I had even seen the script yet, but I didn't care. I'm like, this guy's cool. He reached out to me, and just very humbled to be able to be a part of it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you guys became big friends, didn't you?
We did. It was like when he first reached out to me, I think a few weeks went by for him to finish writing the script. And once he got the script to me, I was really impressed. I said, this is a solid story. And yeah, he kept wanting to pick my brain about things in the script, and what should we do for kills? What do you think about this or that? And I was like, wow, he wants to know what I think. So we just kept, talking back and forth, and it never stopped. And then, before I knew it, I came on as a producer, and met the other big part of our team, Roland Keller, who also stars in the movie, as well as producing, and has a bunch of, all of us has multiple roles in this because we had a real skeleton crew. But it was cool. Yeah, I'm still really, really good friends with both Tom and Roland, and made a whole lot of friends on this project, which is just awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, he was telling us how you guys could become like a family pretty much, And
Yeah, we're pretty tight,
he had went through some shit, and you guys kind of just were there to, you know, have his back kind of deal,
Yeah,
hearing all that. But
yep,
that's cool. Um
yep. We are family, man. A lot of people do kind of throw that around just very callously, but I mean, I never thought I would get, become this close, friends with these guys working on a movie project. And I don't have a lot of local friends anyway. The majority of my friends have been through, online and everything. So to be able to say, hey, I made more great friends that's a win. That's a win
Yeah,
for me.
Definitely.
no doubt, man. I'm right there in that boat with you, dude. Like, where you're Wisconsin? Is that where you're from?
Yeah, I live in Wisconsin. Yep.
Yeah, I'm from Tennessee, and Tennessee's the Bible Belt, man. They really don't like this shit, you know? They don't like anything horror. So
Right, right.
I've got most of my friends, and it's not sad actually because I go and meet them at cons and stuff, and we meet up anyways. And most of my friends are online. Like it's a weird transition from being, 90s to early 2000s where you just hung out and just had fun, to
Yeah,
nowadays where everything's online, and you're an adult and you're like, I don't want to go to the bar. I don't know how to do this. Like,
yeah,
so it's just, I like the people I've met, like John and I, we met here, and we've
Yeah,
been lovers ever since.
we still haven't met in person.
that's awesome though. You guys
Yeah,
got
it's
a
pretty cool.
cool connection, and
Yeah,
you're
I think the
yeah.
online game kind of allows you to meet more people that are into what you're into and your
Oh, for
likes
sure.
and stuff like that. And
Yep.
you still, if someone has a cool personality, that still comes through um,
Yeah.
via social media if you use it right.
I just I met in person for the first time a friend at Texas Frightmare Weekend who at the time I had just been chatting, on and off through Instagram. I knew of him, and it's weird. I mean, we just clicked at the show, and it's like, oh, awesome, adding
Yeah.
another person in the circle of friends, and so yeah, it's awesome when you can get together in person, even though sometimes it's few and far between. But obviously it's a different world now with
Hmm.
everything online and everything. And you guys are obviously a success story about that.
Yeah, yeah, it is an interesting story.
It is. Our
It's
love has
cool.
grown. We have become
uh,
like this.
right? No,
Well, it's
that's good,
also
man.
cool because like even our families are supportive, like both of our wives are, you think you'd meet someone online and be like, yeah, we want to like start this thing that's gonna, in a nutshell, be like, yeah, we want to start this thing that's gonna take up a majority of our time on the weekends and stuff like that, and to have
Yeah,
both of them be like, you know what, we've seen you guys together, it's really good, so do what you want. So it's been a fun ride so far, and we're really just getting started. We got a lot. We got a lot that I think we can do.
Mhm.
heck yeah.
Having cool guests on, and having people who have been in movies and cosplayers like you who are just interesting to talk to. Because every story is a little different, and then a lot of it's the same.
Mhm.
Because it's what I love the most about this is where we've talked to a lot of people who are doing indie films or fan films. Um, we've talked to Smitty already. We've talked to Vincent DeSanti, who does the Never Hike Alone movies. Um, so he's more like a little bit, he feels a little more larger than life sometimes. And then we've had people like Smitty, who's done a great movie, and then we had the director of the Sawyer Massacre on, and we've talked to all these different people, and it's just interesting to learn um, the similarities and the differences of what goes into making these movies. And it's truly fun to talk to them and just kind of learn everything and be a sponge a little bit
Mhm.
and hear everybody's cool stories.
You
Oh
really
yeah.
do. You really do learn a lot by
Yeah.
just listening to people. We talk quite a bit too, but you really do learn a lot. And one thing I want to know about you is what got you, because if you didn't run into Tom whenever you had that minor gear on, this wouldn't have happened with you at least. You know?
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I mean, maybe by straight some strange twist of fate, we might have gotten together, but yeah, I don't know, So I can definitely thank cosplaying for that,
Yeah.
opportunity.
Well, what got you? That's what I want to know. What got you into cosplay? Like that's because your outfits they're spot on. They're
Yeah.
hardcore.
Especially the minor, man. The minor is like fucking golden.
Hmm.
Thanks, guys.
It's awesome.
Um, Yeah, so I ever since I was a kid, just been really into Halloween. Loved Halloween whenever it would that time of year would come up. Um, like to dress up. And then as I got older, kind of didn't really I didn't lose interest in Halloween. Always been like a horror fan and everything. But it wasn't until I started having kids of my own that I kind of started dressing up again, for Halloween at least. And I got into mask collecting in my 20s, and befriended a lot of really, really talented and cool mask artists. And one of them said, "Hey, you should come to Mask Fest," which was like a mask convention at Horror Hound. And I'm like, okay. And I went, very, very green, mind you, didn't know the proper convention etiquette or anything. But it wasn't long when after I got there when I realized, holy cow, there's all these awesome people walking around in costume. I'm like, this is a thing. And I was like, this is awesome. So when I went home, I started working on, like, a new character. What should I do in preparation for going to another convention? And and that's kind of how it got started for me. And then at the time too, started posting some things on social media and stuff. But basically, it started doing costumes for conventions, and and that's kind of how that began. And then it's just kind of like, oh, what else can I do? What else should I do? You don't get tired of doing one character, but it becomes kind of an addiction, you know.
Yeah.
What was
So,
your when was the first time you went to a con? Like when
um, yeah, that was in 2009. That was the
okay.
first. So I kind of got started a little late compared to a majority of other cosplayers. Um, so I mean, I'm in my mid 40s right now, so that, if that tells you anything. I got into it a little late, but
How does
you know,
are you married?
yeah, married, got 7 kids, and
What? Say it
yeah,
again.
yeah,
7.
7 children,
Oh
Woo!
my
all
Lanta.
all from the same wonderful woman.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
Now I know why you
like
dress up, dude. You're a kid at heart. You have to be with 7 kids.
And I mean, I still try to do the cosplay thing quite a bit, but with the growing family, it's been harder to make the time for the cosplay thing. But I still, still like
Does
to do it at heart. So,
does your family go with you ever?
my wife went one time to a show, and she said it was more fun than she had expected it to be. But
Uh-huh.
that was the only time she went with, honestly, because kept having kids, and we got little, usually have a real little one at
Mhm.
any given time, and it's just
Yeah.
hard for her to get away, and understandably. But she's been very supportive about my cosplaying, and I don't get to too many conventions. I try to get to a couple each year, and then she's been very supportive, just as well as the whole family with the fan film too, which is important, man. You know,
So
Yeah, absolutely. Because how long were you guys filming? It was at least a couple weeks, right?
we filmed for about 3.5 weeks, just on the weekends.
Mhm.
So during the week was downtime, but still like running errands and set design and stuff like that. But it was a total of, I think it was 11 days total, I believe. So I was in Pennsylvania for just about a month straight. That was hard. That was hard being
I bet.
away from home that long.
yeah.
But I did it, and was really, really glad to come home after that.
What'd she think of the
So
movie? Did she like the movie?
she did. My wife's she's not big into horror like I am, but she'll watch a few with me every now and then. And she had to watch the fan film, of course. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has she seen the original?
she has, yeah, yep.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah, we watched the original, I think, a day or two prior to her watching the fan film, just to get a refresher.
Yeah.
So
Man,
yeah.
7. I'm blown away by 7 kids, man. That's
It's a lot of
Whew.
kids.
I've got
We did.
4, dude, and that's
Yeah.
enough. That's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great though. I mean, we didn't set out intending to have that many kids, but it just worked out that way.
How many
So,
boys? How many girls?
all boys except one girl who's right in the middle, and
Whoa.
Oh
she's all girl,
Yeah.
which is good.
man, that's oh goodness. Those boys are gonna protect
You
her with life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's
she's
got her
probably she's
daddy and
probably
then
she's probably
six
protecting a
brothers.
lot of them too, shit.
Yeah.
That's like a big breath, that's like a big one deep breath right in the middle there, and then it's back to boys. That's
All right.
I got a 2-year-old boy, and he's a handful. I can't imagine getting 6 others.
Somebody said a long time ago, like, once you have three, then any more is like, no big deal. So
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't
I'll just have 4 more, and yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
You can attest to that more than I can, but once once you have one, I think it's pretty much like um I don't know, man. Like I love my children so much, but Jesus, they're all over the place. Like
Oh yeah.
you could
It's
not like have a moment to sit down. Like it's either get me a Pediasure or you know
right.
come wipe my butt or I want veggie straws or something. It's just kind of every time you sit down, you finally pop that recliner up.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Another one yelling at you for something else, and then they start fighting, and then it's just like, oh my Jesus, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah, it's like
It's never
I can't take naps anymore because if I fall asleep on the couch, he's jumping on me and it's over.
right.
So
It's never
now I have like a reflex. I'm like, oh
yeah. Yeah, you've never got like a true moment of peace. You
no.
might
Not
have
until they go to bed.
uh, right, right. And
My son,
that's if they go to bed on time, right?
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If they don't go to bed on time, you're just as tired as they are, and you're both crying at the end of the night.
And then they
Yep.
wake
But
up full of energy and you're
Oh
still
yeah.
tired.
That's right. You're like, go back to sleep.
my son today, man, like it kind of, we have 3 girls and then a boy. We were trying to get a boy. We finally got a boy. We're like, all right. I was like, I'm fucking done. I can't do this anymore. And my boy is the worst, the absolute worst. Um, but he's so much fun. But today, man, I tried to lay down just for a moment. I was like, give me 15 minutes. I was like, let me have 15 minutes, and then we'll go outside. We'll do the bikes. We'll do everything. We'll go outside, and yeah, outside, outside. I was like, okay, good. So I got him to sit down and watch Bluey for a minute. I don't know if your
Mhm.
kids ever watch Bluey.
No, I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
Bluey's on Disney, man, and Bluey. I'm gonna get off subject for a minute, but Bluey
Okay.
is one of the better shows for a child to watch. 100%. You as parents, you can relate to the parents. I love it. The kids aren't brats. Like, I don't let my kids watch Peppa Pig. I don't let them watch Caillou. I don't let them watch anything, with all these asshole little kids running around. But Bluey's not like that. So I was like,
Okay.
all right, I've got him watching Bluey for a little bit. Well, I dozed off, and literally, when I say I dozed off, it was a minute or two. He had snuck in. He got the scissors. He went into his sister's room and he cut up her nightlight.
Oh no.
The whole strand. It was in like 50 different pieces. Just cut, 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 cut.
Oh
And she's got
yeah.
flowers hanging from her bed and cut, 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 cut. I'm like,
Oh
and then
man.
he comes out holding the scissors, looking at me, and I'm like, bro,
You're like,
no.
oh,
Right?
But
that's a hell of an alarm clock.
And yeah, we'll
Oh
see.
my gosh.
Like he's well enough to know that you don't because we've taught him with the scissor thing because we've had to. That's a huge issue with him. No matter where we put them, he will get a chair, climb up to the top, and figure out how to get into it. So now they're in the top closet. He
Uh-huh.
figured it out today.
Oh boy.
He scooted the chair really quiet because I didn't hear him, and then he stood up on the counter, got up on the counter, got it because he seen me put him up there. Got up there and got the dang scissors, man, and I was. Oh, I was
What
living.
a
So
stinker, huh?
yeah, so I took all the scissors in the house and I locked them up downstairs. So if we want scissors now, we have to go downstairs to get the
Yeah.
scissors.
Yeah.
But
You just
Put them
gotta
in a
love it.
safe.
You just love them either way, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You just want them to be
Oh yeah.
safe, Let's go into that a little bit because that's a something you don't hear about like obviously behind the scenes of movies and stuff like that. I mean, being away from the family for almost a month is like that's sounds tough, man. Even if you're doing what you love and you get to dress up every day and you're working on a movie. I mean, what can be I mean, there's really nothing better than that for us like horror fans and movie fans, you know, but like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like you're still away from you got to be away from your family for that long, man. That's tough.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling guilty a lot. And my wife was very, very supportive. Um, didn't like all the aspects in which I was involved on this film, but was, understanding, and she had some help from other family too to lean on, while I was gone. But yeah, that was a tough. It was tough. We did what do you call it? We Skyped a little bit
Yeah.
and talked quite a bit, but just it's hard, it's difficult. It's difficult,
Yeah. Well, even difficult for you too, man. Like you just once you're done rapping for the day and you're just laying in bed, you're like, oh,
yeah,
I miss my 7 kids and my
uh,
wife. Like,
the key for me was to stay busy, and
yeah.
there was plenty of busyness to be had. I was roomies with Roland Keller, our other producer, and he really helped keep me on track, keep me sane. And there was just so much to do working on the film, even on days where we weren't filming, that just made it seem to go by fairly quickly. So
Yeah.
that was nice.
Yeah. You hear about these people that are on set for like a fucking year and you're like, like big stars and they're like on set in like fucking New Zealand or something for like 11 months. And you're like,
Yeah.
as
Oh
much as I
man.
love movies and as much as like making movies is cool, it's like, man, that sounds tough, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they do it, especially with families. I mean,
Well, if you get paid 30
you
million, it's
know,
probably a little bit easier, but
right? Take some of the sting away.
yeah, stay. If you could fly them out every now and then, be like, yeah, come to New Zealand.
Right.
Like I got a week off from the movie. That'd
Right.
be cool. But yeah, man, that sounds tough. Were you ever just like, were you ever just in character as the minor and you're just like, shit, I miss my kids. I miss my wife. And then they're like action and you're like, oh shit. All right, here we go. I feel like that would creep in every once in a while, you know?
I don't think so, man, because there was just so much going
It was
on. I
just
mean,
balls to the wall.
both yeah, both Roland and I were also doing producer duties as well.
Right.
So that was tough to juggle both, to act and produce. And so if anything, it was thoughts in my head about what scene are we doing next? Do we have everything we need for that scene? Just thinking about that because there's a lot of things that kind of got overlooked and we're ready to shoot a scene. We're like, we're supposed to have a booze bottle with booze. We
Yeah.
don't have it, and then you're scrambling to try to get
Yeah.
something that you need in the shot. um
Yeah,
so yeah, it
those
was
little
just
things are those little things are tough to remember.
well, yeah, we didn't have several positions. We didn't have a script supervisor,
Right.
people like that kind of oversee things like that. So some things kind of slipped through the cracks, and then we're like,
Yeah.
what do we do? We improvise.
Right. Yeah. Did
So
you guys have an AD on set?
yeah.
'Cause I feel like those people are like, hey, let's get the ball rolling. They're pretty good at
Yep.
that, but
Yep. Gosh, I'm gonna butcher her last name. Liz Salderigo. She was a fantastic AD. She was so polite all the time. ADs get a bad rap for like,
they do.
cracking the whip and be like, "Come on, let's go!" And just she was
Which they
she's
have to do, by the way, right? Like that is
yeah,
their
but she
job.
she, she did it in a way though where like she could be very nice about it and
Right.
not pushy, but yet still get things done.
Right.
And I remember there's a lot of times in between scenes where I'm still in costume, but I don't have the mask on and stuff like that. And she'd be like, "Chuck, how long do you think it's going to take you to get in costume?" And I'd be like, "About 10 minutes." And she's like, "Okay." And it just always gave me notice. Was just so nice about everything. It really made things feel seamless.
Yeah.
And I mean, just across the board. And I think that's just really important to have an AD that's cool headed, but I mean, she knew what needed to be done, and she kept things on track. But she has her own methods, and I just love working with her.
That's
Well,
good.
good. Hey, so do you this is the first time you've acted, right?
Yes,
Is this the first time you've directed, acted, anything?
I have not been involved in any type of a film project before. No, totally
So
green.
is this like a dream that you had since 2008 kind of, or was it prior to that? Like how did you just jump right into this and know kind of what you're doing?
I didn't. Um, Tom really trusted me. Like he's like, oh, I mean, you know that minor character. I don't really need to tell you anything about that. Um, so I pretty much had that covered. But as far as like the producing duties and everything else, a lot of it was just kind of learning as I went. And Tom and Roland were teaching me a lot of things too. And those guys were just so welcoming and just with open arms and never criticized me about like my inexperience or anything. And it was great. I mean, we just came together as a team, and it worked out really, really well. So they made me feel very comfortable. And yeah,
Do you see yourself doing more?
if it was the right opportunity, yes, but on a much more minimal scale. Like it would be either one of something or nothing, because I like with this one, I just took on so much, a lot of the
Yeah.
social media, Indiegogo campaign, the various producing duties, making some of the perks and stuff that we, offered for the crowdfunder. And it was just like, just too much. So I definitely love to act again if the
Yeah.
opportunity came up. So not saying it's a one and done thing, but
Yeah,
you know,
we talked with Smitty about that too. Like fan film is a different monster as well because of the crowdfunding and the Indiegogo and the basically it's like levels of promoting as well. I mean, you're
yeah,
promoting the movie before it's even made just to get it made, and then you
yeah,
have to
absolutely.
promise all these perks. Like when we talked to him, which was like a month or so ago now, but I mean, they were still fulfilling some of the perks, and it's like the movie's been out since what, Valentine's Day, so
Yep, we
you
still
know,
are. Hmm.
yeah, it's that's a whole different monster. It sounds like, man. Just like I think
It
he was
is.
talking, he talked to someone about, he's like, do you have any tips on? I can't remember who it was he talked to, but he had talked to someone else that did a crowd fund, and he was like, do you have any tips on the crowdfunding and the Indiegogo and how to go about that situation? And the guy was like, if you don't have to do it, don't do it,
Yeah,
because it feels like such a whole nother layer of
Stress.
making a movie. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that
it totally
sounds so
is.
intense.
Yeah,
Like rather than doing like an original where maybe you don't have the fan base there already, so it's difficult in that sense. But as far as fulfilling perks and trying to get the money put into something, and then I guess there it seems like there's kind of that um you you feel like you have to please some people because there are certain expectations, right? When people give their money,
oh, absolutely. Yep.
especially for a fan film where it's mostly fans of the original, whatever that film is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother monster, dude. So to jump in that and have that be your first thing is like, yeah, obviously everybody has to put in like extra effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty daunting. None of us had ever done an Indiegogo campaign or crowdfunder before. So we did ask a few other filmmakers who, were very honest about it. Can't remember who I talked to, but just one thing that always stuck with me that one of them said was, you are going to be married to this project. Like if you're serious about doing it and doing it the right way, it will take over your life. And when he told that to me, it didn't really sink in until we started getting underway with the crowdfunder, and then all these things about having to promote the crowdfunder, and just the endless social media posts to try to raise awareness. And it started sinking in pretty quick. Like wow. So not only that, but also on top of just everything you have to do to make the film, conference calls, like, on a if not every day, every other day, messaging. And it's like, wow, I remember missing, quite a few dinners because I'm still on the phone, and I didn't want to do that, but it's like, man, if you're going to do it, you got to take it seriously. And we did. So it really, essentially took over all of our lives, and it's better now, now that the movie
Yeah.
is out there and done. But yeah, we're still fulfilling perks and
So
What
doing certain
crazy.
things.
what two questions. That's what I was going to ask when you were talking about this. How did your wife feel about it at the beginning? And then also, what uh what perks are you working on?
I think she was reserved and cautious in the beginning because she didn't know, kind of like I was. I didn't know all of what was going to happen, or what paths just that first yes I'm in was going to take throughout this project. But I know definitely at the end, pretty plainly, she's like, "You're never doing anything like this again." And I totally understand, where she's coming from. And
Yeah.
I mean, she was really, really great and supportive. But, there were days and there were times where she's just rolling her eyes and,
Yeah. No,
like,
I feel that 100%. Yeah, I mean, my wife's a godsend, but man, it's if I were to do anything like that, Jesus,
Yeah, it's the true
you know,
heroes behind the
take
scenes there
the
because
wheel.
they're doing everything else that you're supposed to be doing.
Yep,
So you can take
yeah,
time to do this other crazy thing that you're really not like, you
they
know,
are the real MVPs, honestly.
yeah.
yeah, for sure. I mean, and part of that's my fault too, guys, because there were things that would happen, developments that would come up. We had somebody that was supposed to be running our social media, and that fell through. Somebody had to step up, and I'm like, okay, I will. And Roland stepped up doing some of that too. So that was just like one example, but there were just things that kept coming up, and I'm like, okay. And then before you know it, you're just so immersed that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this stuff, and feels like a couple more part-time jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. But you
Oh,
guys did a good job. I mean, the movie has like almost it's creeping up on 25,000 views, and that
yeah,
may not seem like a lot to like some other fan films, but like let's be honest, like a My Bloody Valentine fan film, that's a niche crowd. You know what I mean?
it
That's
is.
that's
Yeah,
not like doing like nothing against these other directors, but some of the other fan films that kind of have like a very established fan base, you know what I mean? Um,
absolutely.
so it's kind of more of a niche thing. So 25,000 is something to be proud of.
Yeah,
I truly believe that.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. We're pretty happy with that number, and
And it's only going to
hopefully,
grow. It's going to get yeah,
yep, keeps
it's going to be
going.
more for sure. I mean, I think we
Hmm.
when we talked to Tom, I think it wasn't even at 20,000 yet. So I mean, it's at like 23 or 24 right now. I mean, it's obviously still going up. So that's a good thing, man. And like I said, that's a niche crowd. I mean, My Bloody Valentine isn't like I mean, it's a great movie. Absolutely. It's one of the better horror slashers in my
I
opinion.
agree.
Um,
Yeah,
but it is a niche compared to like Jason
Halloween.
or
or Halloween,
Halloween or
or
Texas
yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre, you know what I mean? Like I feel like
Everyone knows
you
them,
still have to
you
be
know?
great at doing that. I'm not saying you don't because it's still hard no matter what. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
let's not sugarcoat it. No matter what, it's hard. But to start, it almost feels like you're not doing a fan film, because it's like to get crowdfunding for that is just it just feels harder because it's just a
Yeah,
more of a niche crowd.
it did at times feel like it was a little bit more of an uphill battle. Trying to um, get get people interested and involved because of that. It is
Yeah,
more kind of a select niche, film. But at the same time, that's kind of what made it interesting too. It's like, man,
definitely.
and it just seems like there's been a pretty big resurgence with My Bloody Valentine, especially the last 5 or 10 years. When they remastered the that 4K version on the Blu-ray, you got the director's cut now. You're seeing a lot of different merch coming out. You got that NECA figure. You got the new book that's out. The game. Fright Rigs put out a game, and or Fright Rigs put out something. They do awesome stuff. They put out usually something new every year for My Bloody Valentine, but just
Yeah.
it's like the I feel like the popularity for that film is growing in comparison to some other one-off films, from the 80s.
Yeah.
So does it compare to your Friday the 13th and stuff in terms of overall popularity? No, not of course not. But
But
we're
that's the other
trying.
thing. I mean, geez, it's like you said, that's a great point. It's a one-off, right? Like obviously
Yeah,
it had the remake, but
and
I
you had the
mean,
remake.
but
Yep,
still, like it's not a franchise, So I mean, that's
right.
difficult, man, and it's been fucking decades. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
It was well deserved. Like
absolutely,
the fans
absolutely,
yeah,
deserve this because this
for
that
sure.
what you guys come up with and what Tom created was, brilliant because people like me, I told John, he wasn't big into like holiday horrors and
Yeah, I'll come right out and say I didn't see My Bloody Valentine until this Valentine's Day.
okay,
Crazy
so
because I've been a horror fan for basically my entire life.
yeah.
But
sure,
I've just like Taylor was saying, I'm not huge. I was never huge on holiday horror. Like,
And it's more like Christmas, but like you kind of entwine all of those together. And that's the same way I am with like cult films and stuff like that. Like I'm not that
sure,
big into those. So there's a whole ton of them that are movies that I'm not into that people would say, "Hey, this is amazing." But
yeah.
so John watched it and
I was basically like this. Why? I mean, I I missed out my entire
yeah,
life
yeah,
on not seeing this movie. It's unbelievable. I did the same thing with Silent Night, Deadly Night. I didn't, I just wasn't big on I just wasn't big. It wasn't necessarily just holiday. It was like the idea of like maybe not watching those movies but once a year.
sure,
yeah.
yeah,
So I was
sure,
kind of like, except for like Halloween, because like I'm a big Halloween fan, but the idea that like it just felt weird to me to be like, oh, like it would just be weird for me to like pop in Halloween right now. You know what I
okay,
mean? Like it just doesn't, I don't know, like I want to wait till Halloween to watch it, right? So I
sure,
just never got super into them. And then I think it was once Krampus came out,
Yeah, such a
okay,
good movie.
oh yeah,
I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then that got me. And then obviously I'd always been a Halloween fan, um, but then I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night this Christmas, and I was like, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. So I was like, I'm gonna do, and I had seen the remake, which I wasn't a fan of, so that didn't help me out.
okay.
I was like, okay, the
Of
original's probably terrible of My
of
Bloody
which?
Valentine.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, I didn't
okay.
like the remake that much. I just really wasn't into it.
I love it.
I
Yeah,
just, yeah, I don't know what it was. There was something around 2009 where I was just like, some of these remakes just aren't doing it for me. Um, so I never watched the original.
okay.
And then I was like, I gotta check that one out, right? So um I bought it, watched it, and I was like, yeah, I missed out. Obviously, that was dumb. But now I'm starting to
Did
get into it a little bit more.
did you get the director's cut? Do you know? Or
Yes, I did.
okay, good, good.
Yes, I
That's
did.
that's the proper one to watch,
And it's
especially if you haven't
so
seen it
good.
before.
The characters are great.
Yeah,
The the film, like the cinematography is good for that time, for what they had for a budget. I mean, the whole thing is just good, man. And
yeah.
what you guys did with your movie was good. It was um kind of dark like that movie was. You actually filmed in a real mine, which is
Hmm.
I don't know how you guys pulled off, but it's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
And it was just done right, the way you guys did it. So major props to you guys for sure. The hard work pays off is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Tom had a vision for this, and he didn't waver. Amidst all the personal things, that have happened that you guys, heard
Right.
firsthand.
Right.
And he really wanted to capture that similar feel and vibe from, the original movie, and take those characters and be like, how are these characters going to be 40 years later, what have they had to endure with knowing what happened to their, friends that have, been killed off and in the first movie. And he just did a great job. I mean, I was really blown away, seriously, when I read his script. I'm like, this is gold.
Yeah.
And then to see that unfold on as our movie, came out and filming it and the making of it and everything. I feel pretty proud of what we did, and glad people are enjoying it. It's tough, man. It's tough pleasing everybody. It's tough pleasing hardcore fans, from the original movie. But we've gotten a lot of good feedback and a lot of praise. And I keep saying, hey, for a fan film, I think we did a spectacular job. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and you guys got fright rags on board, which doesn't happen, by the way. We talked to, we've
yeah,
talked to Ben, like he doesn't just make
Mhm.
shirts
I
for
tried to get
fan
him to
films.
put
I mean, doesn't
yeah, I tried
happen.
to get
So
him to
to
put pictures
yeah,
of my face on shirts and he won't do it. He's like, I am not taking on that shit. And I'm like,
and then you got Christie in there and you got Nightmare
yeah,
Toys. I mean, yeah, huge kind of quote unquote sponsors, I guess. But
yeah. Oh yeah,
um,
Did it?
no, they were official sponsors. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
we were
and
very fortunate to have them on board, and I do believe having them on board was part of the key to the success of our
definitely.
campaign.
Which is
Yeah,
brilliant. I mean, and it doesn't hurt when your director and writer is a special effects guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's
Smitty
right.
just Smitty being that kind of guy is like kind of what you're seeing now, where people are becoming directors and they've worked in different areas and different departments of the of the movie business. Like you're seeing with the Terrifier movies. Damien Leone is a special effects guy. So it's like this to bring those special effects in an area where maybe a director doesn't really know those things.
Mhm.
How did it feel? I don't know how you guys filmed, if you did certain takes. I'm guessing you guys didn't go like scene one to end scene in filming.
Yeah, we didn't film in order,
Right.
and some of that was based on availability of location, availability of certain actors for those scenes. We tried to have everything as efficient as possible as we went along, but yeah, we definitely filmed a lot of things out of order,
Right.
than what you see in the movie.
Did you guys do a lot of takes?
Um, you know, a fair amount. It really depended on the scene.
Mhm.
There was one in particular where the scene with her name was Ginger, played by Christina.
Mhm.
Um, that was where she does that little tease and is kind of playing with the gas mask hose because she thinks the I don't know. Can we say is this spoiler free or
No, you could
should we?
spoil it.
Yeah.
If they
Okay, all
haven't
right.
seen it
Say
by
it.
now, they shouldn't be watching this
All right.
episode.
So yeah, it's just she thinks the it's her boyfriend dressed up as the miner. So she's doing this little tease thing. And how did that work? I had to I take my pickaxe similar to the original movie at the very beginning
Yeah.
where the miner takes his pickaxe and he just sticks it in like in a wall in a piece of wood, just kind of like, hey, I'm going to save this for later. I did that same thing alongside her. I have to stick it in a wall. We're outside, and what are you going to stick it in? We can't damage property, and there was a we can't forget if there was a window there or an empty space. We took it's like a piece of styrofoam, and I think we kind of painted it up, and we kind of fastened like a hole in it already. So we filmed that scene in reverse. We filmed it backwards. So the pickaxe was already stuck in that piece of foam. This pickaxe right here was already stuck in that piece of foam, and then John, our cinematographer, says, all right, Chuck, here we go. And I have to pull it out of the wall. So when it's played back, it looks like I'm sticking it in. And we did that take over and over because he's like, no, it didn't look right. No, do it again. No, it didn't look right. And I don't know, we did that one at least 10 times. And after a while, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What should I be doing differently to get the right look? And then finally by that time he's like, okay, I think we got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like,
Man,
okay, that's weird though to act like
Yeah,
backwards.
backwards, like
That was weird.
wind up at the end. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's odd.
like
So
Now I'm gonna go watch that scene again.
right,
yeah,
right.
me too, me too. Your quick movements though, like, did you practice all that shit? Did you just watch the film so much because like you're just like it's not like like when you flip the table and you just do this shit, like it's so quick, it's so perfect. Like, did you practice it?
Some of that stuff I did. Otherwise, just really just tried to, get into character and be in the moment. And
You have a love for My Bloody Valentine. Is that what brought you to this?
yeah, it's my favorite slasher film, without a
Really?
doubt. Yeah, I think they just captured to steal a line that Roland uses. They captured lightning in a bottle with that movie,
They
and
did.
I think just everything just came together so
It's so
beautifully.
rewatchable, man. That movie
You
is
It
so
know,
is.
rewatchable. I've watched it a few
Uh,
times now. It's so good.
it's I mean it's got it all. I think it's got the story. The story is so strong,
Yeah.
and and then it's got the kills. The effects were out of this world, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. So it was really fun to be able to, like, wow, I'm doing this. I'm actually doing
Yeah.
this, and um, doing some of those kills was a lot of fun.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, I can only
You know?
imagine, man. You're like the
Oh man.
closest
Absolutely.
since 2009, wasn't it?
Oh, what's
Yeah,
that?
2009 was the remake. Yeah, that was the
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first time
remake was in
someone played
'09.
the minor. Yeah,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
must
So
feel cool to just kind of be a part of think about it. If you think about it that way, you're only the third person to
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're like the
ever play the
closest
minor, you know?
since
Yeah.
2009.
Pretty
That's
Yeah.
wild.
fucking awesome.
It's pretty cool.
That is cool, man. That's awesome.
Well, Chuck,
Yeah.
is that your given name?
It's Charles actually, but I've been going by
Oh
Chuck.
my God. Don't ever say that again, Charles.
I feel like I don't know
Uh,
you now, man. Jeez.
You're a
I
liar.
I destroyed the illusion. I've been going by Chuck since I thought I don't know, like sometime in high school. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to be called Chuck instead. So okay.
Never Chucky though.
Just a few select people call me that. I don't know why,
Just
but
when they're drinking. Chucky, look at
right,
right.
right.
Yeah. Love
I
it.
still respond.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
you've
Yeah,
uh, you've
Chuck, Taylor,
you've
Chuck.
upset. I know you've upset me with the whole Charles thing. I've got a friend named Charles, and I don't like him.
Okay.
Nah, I'm just joking. Charles, Chuck, Chucky, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You did a great, great job
Yeah.
playing the minor. We are coming up on an hour, so we do need
Yeah.
to wrap this up. But
It's been fun, guys. It's
yeah,
been fun. It just feels like a real laid back
Yeah, man,
man,
conversation and chat.
you
that's
didn't
what we try to
cut
do,
out for
dude.
a while, dude. You cut out and like screwed us all up. We had like
We were
questions and
like,
shit for you.
oh
Oh
man, is
man.
that maybe we didn't do good.
Do
I
well. We
wasn't
didn't
trying to
do
cut out
well.
early. Oh man.
No,
Either
that's
Yeah,
way,
this
cool,
though,
is
man.
this is cool.
Yeah,
yeah, we
yeah,
we we appreciate it.
we that's what we try to keep it like. I obviously we're gonna throw some questions at you because we want to promote what you obviously have a lot of creativity, man, in your brain with the cosplaying and your mask making on certain ones and obviously in this movie and so obviously we're going to throw some questions at you interview style, but mostly
Yeah.
we like to keep it a conversation because I feel like it just allows our guests to kind of settle in and give us the best stories and stuff like that. Like that story with the axe in reverse, like that's cool, man. And
Cool
I
story.
I honestly had no idea that you were like producing a lot and doing some other tasks on on the movie. So that's cool to learn too. And like I said before, we just like to be a sponge, you know, with people like you and people like Smitty and these other directors and actors and just people who we enjoy talking to that are horror fanatics as well.
Yeah.
And I just really think you did a good job, man. You deserve to be praised for it. Everybody on that project deserves to be praised, especially you know, knowing that it's kind of a skeleton crew. That's never easy.
Yeah.
Doing a fan film, never easy. The fan film you guys chose, not easy at all. And just a job well done by all of you. And you just really brought the minor back to life for fans like us. And it's just really cool to see, man.
Like a
Thank you,
Hallmark
man.
card. Jesus Christ, John, that was
Sorry. I
beautiful.
try to give a little something sentimental at the end of every episode. So
That was
Well,
sexy. I enjoyed
sorry.
that.
it was, man. That was some big compliments getting tossed around there. But you're right. I mean, everybody just really stepped up, and we had just so many. I can't remember what Tom said. Maybe he said it on your show, but I mean, he found the right people for this project, and people who really not only believed in what he was doing, but just wanted to be part of this film. And I really think that shows, you know, with all the wonderful actors that we had in the film, people doing the behind the scenes stuff. Um, you know, I'm very grateful that I have a lot of friends that I not only made on this project, but friends that I was able to tap in their brains and you know, pick their brains about ideas. Like, hey, what do you think about this? You know, because it sometimes it just felt like, it's a little overwhelming. I need some help to make some decisions on certain things. Like, oh, what should we do here for this perk? And I remember talking to Corey Kaufman, who did he was our graphic artist on the Indiegogo campaign. Man, I picked his brain about a lot of stuff, and he was very helpful because he's worked on other projects, other fan film projects before, and also talked a lot to one of our another artist, Ryan from Horror Express Studios. He made some of the prop weapons that were in our film, and again, just a huge fan of my Blade Valentine, and it was great, you know, being able to talk with him and just get some feedback from him on some of the things that we were doing. And just it was just nice having all kinds of people that were supportive and wanting to say, hey, you know, I care about what you're doing. Let me help you, even if it's just through a conversation. Sometimes it just feels like it feels good just to talk with people, and you're kind of venting a little bit, but you know, sometimes on certain days, but you know, getting advice from people is good. I welcome that, and so that helped. That helped a lot. You know.
Yeah,
Well, at least you had a good
absolutely.
experience, first experience. You know that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
blessing because you could have had a real shitty one and
True.
you'd never do
Right.
this again.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
at least you okay. So real quick, the perks. What
Yeah.
perks are you fulfilling? I want to know that.
I am making the little Valentine Bluffs light up signs. I believe all of those have gone out already. Also making the the replica pickaxes here.
Nice.
Um, and let's see. I'm forgetting something. There've been a couple other things, but so yeah, those are in the works, and I know Tom and Roland have been continuing to get other perks fulfilled, so that helps, just kind of sharing all that, you know, sharing the workload together. So
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely, man. And some one of our buddies, Dustin, we had him on. He's making a movie called Tapehead, and
yeah,
it's an all original piece. And he said
It's
to
amazing.
us, what are you doing if you're not contributing to the genre that you love? And I really think that you guys did a great job doing that. Um, uh, Proud of you guys. Uh, Impressed with your creativity, and just really enjoyed having you on, man, and thank you for coming on and making this show better as well. So thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you guys, man. It's been a pleasure, and good luck to your future endeavors too, man. It sounds like you got a solid thing going. Keep it up.
Awesome.
We
Awesome. Thank you,
appreciate it.
Chuck. Appreciate it, man. You have a good night. All right.
Bye,
All
Charles.
right, you two guys. Thanks. See ya.